advantage game one because it's too hard to execute the combo, but these twin decks are so good at flipping into a control deck, and that's a much harder game plan for Jun to beat.
Looks like that's what Kyle might be attempting to do, is he's got a Tasker on the stack, delving a little bit. And it looks like Kevin is empty-handed at this point. He'll play a copy of Treetop Village off the top of his deck, pass the turn back. Can't even fire up the Raging Ravine because Tasker has that 5 toughness. Tasker going to come into the red zone now. Gerhart going to be going down to 14, it appears. We'll draw a card. Boggemees, he's the one with all the cards in hand. Raging Ravine going to fire up. It's going to attempt to attack. Trigger on the stack. We'll see if it gets the counter. There's a Dismember. Wouldn't matter even if it did. There's a Dark Confidant. Boggemees going to quickly untap. He'll take a draw. Into the red zone, he goes with Tasker. Looks like it's 10-10 now. We'll see if that Dark Confidant makes it out of this turn. Well, it's still alive.
Sort of.
It is still alive. Silver Temptation brings it to Boggemees' side, however. Haven't seen that card in a little while.
From the years of 2005 to 2010, Wizards printed a lot more control magics than they print now.
This is true.
So Modern's a refresher course on things like Threads of Disloyalty, Vidalcan Shackle, Sower of Temptation.
I know Greg Hatch yesterday was in search of Persuasion.
Can't Abrupt Decay that.
Yep. Dark Confidant's going to block. A little bit of trample damage. Boggemees will go down to 8. He'll quickly untap and take a draw. Not going to overvalue the Dark Confidant there. He's already got a lot of cards in his hand. Feels pretty good about his position. Attack here for 6. Gerhart's going to go down to 4. The follow-up is a Spell Skite past that turn back. That'll protect those threats that are on the battlefield. We'll see if the Jun player can find something nice here. He'll just pass the turn back. Boggemees will draw. Picks a copy of Blood Moon.
And now I think Kyle just, it does generate a kill this turn because it shuts off the Treetop Village, but does Kyle want to show it?
Yeah. He'll start with a discard spell. There are a couple of lands. Here's the attack. Terminate will take care of that, and Terminate will help take care of the game. Kyle Boggemees is going to win game number 2 against Kevin Gerhart. Grixis Twin, Jun, they're heading to game number 3, which means we'll take a look at the sideboards. We'll start with Gerhart's. We reviewed it last round, but we'll take a look at it again.
An Ancient Grudge, a Chandra Pyromaster, an Olivia Valdarin, 4 copies of Fulminator Mage, a Jun Charm, 2 copies of Anger of the Gods, a Duress, 2 copies of Kitchen Finks, Night of Soul Betrayal, and Shatterstorm. The 1 Duress here seems like a pretty easy add, and beyond that, there is not a lot of excitement. Is there really anything that you like here? Assuming that Kyle's bailed on the combo, and a card like Night of Soul's Betrayal doesn't provide very much for him.
If Kyle has bailed on the combo and we're going to play a little bit longer game, I'm okay with Chandra.
Yeah, Chandra seems fine.
That's about it. Yeah, I'm not excited about anything else here.
The Duress. I think the Duress is fine.
I would bring it in. I'm not excited, though.
Yeah, it's not even particularly exciting.
On Boggemees' side, 2 Pyroclasm, an Engineer Explosives, 2 Solar Temptation, a Dismember, 2 Dispel of Vendilion Click, 2 Spells Guided Kolaghan's Command, 2 Blood Moon, 1 Spell Snare. We already saw the Blood Moon. At least 1 is in after sideboard. I imagine that Kolaghan's Command is in it as well. Kills Dark Confidant, lets you play a little bit of a longer game, which it looks like he has some interest in doing. And we saw at least 1 Spell Skite after sideboard too, so, and the Sower, at least 1 of those. So a lot of options here.
Yeah, well, he's not in the pure control style of things like, you know, Keranos, for example, or Batterskull. He's not playing that kind of game exactly, but he is a Grixis control deck post-board. And the removal spells, the Sower Temptations, they all feed into that game plan.
These players are quickly shuffling up here for game number 3, so we'll be underway in just a moment. We'll talk about the Star City Games YouTube page, where you can watch the replays of this tournament and all our other invitationals. Of course, our Open Series events as well. We've got our Versus Series archives, our Premium archives, where you'll find Magic Online videos, and specialty things that we do only on our YouTube page that are not posted to the website, like unboxings with Evan Irwin, Brian Bronduin, Brad Nelson, Chris Van Meter, Todd Anderson, and all the guys you love from Star City Games. YouTube.com/Star City Games. Subscribe today. You'll get emails when we upload new content. And of course, like I said, we've got some exclusive things that we only do on our YouTube page.
It's free, totally free. All you gotta do is sign up. There's a great archive of content, all the Open Series events, old articles and such, and of course, the exclusive content to the YouTube page, like those unboxings.
We've also got Best of SCG Live on there.
Yeah.
Some of our finest moments. For me, still my favorite one is watching Dan Musser get annihilated by Kenan Haas. When
That's a great one.
Dan played the old rest in peace, and Kenan boarded in the Helm of Obedience to one-up him. I think that's my favorite one. There are some really good ones, though. The Opalescence is a really good one.
I think there's a lot of Chris. I was about to say the one match where Chris Van Meter got killed by, but there's so many good ones of Chris getting unexpectedly killed by mono red players.
Yeah.
We can make a YouTube page just of that.
But maybe we should. Dictator of the Twin Gods, probably the one that most people know.
Harnessed by Force.
Yep.
Another one for the highlight reel.
Chris has taken some real beats, but he's been given beats this weekend.
Yeah, a great run so far. Got his first loss last round in the Amulet Mirror, but 10-1, still in a great position to top 8, obviously.
Absolutely, and we know he wants to achieve that, as do both of these players. Kevin Gerhart was one of our undefeated players coming in. It's been kind of a tough road for him so far today. 8-0 after day number 1, 1-2 so far today against a very, very good player in Kyle Boggemees, who has some Open Series success, has a Pro Tour 9th place at the last Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. Also a Grand Prix champion in Cincinnati last year, so no slouch here is the Michigan player. You see his opening hand, Spellskite, Terminate 2 Blood Moons, a couple of Scalding Tarns, and a Sulphur Falls.
And Kyle's best professional finish, ironically enough, with Junt. Kevin's choice this weekend.
Second place at Pro Tour San Diego 2010. Lost in the finals to Simon Gertzen, whose birthday it was a couple of days ago. So happy birthday, Simon.
Small world all around.
Yeah. I know all of these things about Magic and people. I can't do fractions or other things, but,
Could not tell you my blood type, for example. But I do know all these interesting factoids.
Yeah, Simon's birthday 2 days ago, Jim Davis's birthday yesterday. Sure, why do I know all of this stuff? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Why do I know Kyle Boggemees' complete resume by heart? A Tarmogoyf here for Kevin Gerhart. That thing's a 2-3. Boggemees going to sacrifice a Scalding Tarn. We'll see what land he wants to grab.
Now, Kevin obviously couldn't take a Blood Moon with that Inquisition, as there are 2 of them in the hand.
Yep.
But good for Kevin that he's naturally drawn a Forest here.
That is very helpful. Kyle searching for a basic island. No surprise there with the Blood Moons in his hand. Now that Tarmogoyf is a 3-4. Boggemees will draw a card. Pluto Delta looks like what he peeled.
And I know where Kyle is at right now. Playing with Modern, especially with Blood Moon and different fetch lands, getting different lands, there's so much mental energy spent just on what lands and what your sequence of that sort of stuff is.
Here comes Tarmogoyf. Will Boggemees block with the Spellskite? That's the question.
What can Kevin play that punishes him for a block?
Something like a Lightning Bolt, Kolaghan's Command.
What you would like to avoid is Kevin putting a different card type at instant speed in his graveyard and killing your Spellskite for free.
Yeah.
That's probably not happening. So if Kevin can answer it, it's probably with Lightning Bolt or some other effect like that after a block.
Pretty interesting little standoff here.
And Kevin with Bolt in hand. So that appears to be what's going on here.
Kyle gonna take the damage. Go down to 16. By not blocking, Kevin not having to cast the bolt, maybe this frees up his mana a little bit this turn. There's land number 3, but nothing to do with it. Just gonna pass after playing the Bloodstained Mire. Kyle gonna very quickly sacrifice a Pluto Delta. Land number 3 on the way, could be swamp number 1. Looks like it's gonna be.
And this seems like a fine spot for Kyle to stick Blood Moon.
Yep, and you see Kevin already sacrificing his Bloodstained Mire. I think he'll get swamp number 1 as well. There that is, so that his mana is okay. And there is the Blood Moon. This is Kyle's game plan here.
Now, Blood Moon is not going to lock Kevin out of the game. He's got a swamp, he's got a forest. It does turn off his mana lands. It makes some of his cards a little bit more prohibitive to cast or use, like Liliana the Veil, for example. There's 2 swamps in the deck, but it's unlikely Kevin's able to draw the other one. And Kyle has a second Blood Moon and the ability to redirect an Abrupt Decay from Blood Moon over to a Spellskite. So he can keep a Blood Moon in play probably for the entire game.
Boggemees down to 12 after this attack from Tarmogoyf. The draw for Gerhart this turn was a Treetop Village. And that's just a mountain that enters the battlefield tapped right now as Boggemees quickly untaps and takes a draw. Picked up a copy of Serum Visions. Looks like he's going to play a Pestermite now. That'll untap the island, which will allow him to cast the Serum Visions. Get a little bit deeper in his deck. He'll draw a card, and I will see him scry. See how he feels about the 2 cards he's looking at.
And Kevin is so light on action right now that if Kyle's even able to find something like Terminate, he should pull pretty far ahead.
Yeah.
Snapcaster Mage would also qualify.
It's a Scalding Tarn, which is a mountain right now because of the Blood Moon. Boggemees did keep both cards on top from these Serum Visions. That's worth noting as Gerhart does untap. He'll take a draw. 3/4 Tarmogoyf on the battlefield. Not much else going on here for Kevin. There's an Inquisition of Kozilek. Get a better idea of what Kyle's working with. A Blood Moon, a Tasker, a Deceiver Exarch.
Can't take the Tasker. Not a lot of value in taking the Blood Moon.
Yeah.
So this is probably Deceiver Exarch. And Kyle probably does not care too much about that card at this stage.
Yeah, the big question is what did Kyle leave on top of his deck with the Serum Visions? Again, he scried both to the top. If you're Kevin, you got to be worried about that. Kevin going to take the Deceiver Exarch. Tarmogoyf up to a 4/5 now. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, Spellskite can't do what it was doing previously, which was considered blocking. The follow-up here is a Swamp. There's that second Swamp.
Okay.
That means Liliana's an option. Boggemees will draw. Blood Moon Tasker X. X is Splinter Twin.
Okay. That'll play.
Yeah. Shrug the shoulders.
You can see why Kyle never was willing to commit that Spellskite.
There's Lightning Bolt.
I would redirect it to Spellskite.
Good choice. I saw it. That's going to do it. Kyle Boggemees is going to win this match here over Kevin Gerhart. 2-1. Grixis Twin will take care of Jund. Makes you wonder, maybe he boarded back in the combo there.
Or maybe he has, 2 Splitter Twins in his deck or something like that. It's so hard to play this matchup from the Jund side of the table because if they bail on the combo entirely, some of your cards get a lot worse. If they've kept the combo completely intact, some of the ways you would want to sideboard are really bad. And if they're in the middle of those 2 things, then playing the game is really hard.
Yeah.
And I think that Kyle was probably in the third camp. I don't think he was on the full blow